Hello fellow mountain bikers. Today I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about the Revel Bikes Rail. This is a 27 5-inch wheeled 165mm travel bike. But before I get into it, hit pause, go down to the comments and let me know, do you prefer 27.5 or 29-inch wheels? If you haven't heard of Revel Bikes, that's probably because they are a fairly new brand. So at the time of filming, they've been around for just over a year. They came out last year with two models, a 29-inch full carbon bike and this thing, a 27 5-inch full carbon bike. These things are absolute super bikes that kind of go toe-to-toe with the best bikes on the planet. That's what I've been saying about Revel, and it's been interesting to see them sort of evolve the brand over just the first year and how much good feedback they've gotten on their bikes and basically how competitive they are.
I want to win!
Against the best brands out there. And you wonder, how is that possible, a new brand to just show up out of nowhere and compete like that? Well, if you dig into Revel, the guys who started the brand have a lot of history as engineers and just bike industry people in general, so there's a lot of firepower behind who's at that company. Back in August, we actually went out to their headquarters and met and hung out with all the guys, rode the bikes. We made a bunch of videos about Revel so far, so check out our Revel Bikes playlist. We did a behind the brand that kind of goes into the details of who is running that company. We did a review on their Rascal, their 29-inch 130mm travel bike. And now we're finally getting around to this one, which is a 165mm travel 27.5 bike, the Rail. This is definitely a pretty interesting category of bike. So these things really started to evolve. I mean, obviously there's a big split between people who like 27.5, like 29. One is not better than the other, in my opinion. They're both really fun and just have different attributes about them. So some people just really love 27.5 for the reasons it's different, like playfulness, agility, all of the like flickability, poppiness, all of that sort of stuff. A good example of someone who really exemplifies that to like the sky's limit is this dude Brady Tweedy. He rides for Revel Bikes. Just check out some clips of him right now. So as you can see, that's kind of a good example of what a 27.5 bike can do and kind of how they're just very different in terms of feel than a 29. When I first got on this thing, I kind of had this perception that, oh, it's a long travel 27.5 bike, it's not going to climb very well. In the last few years, a good number of brands have actually made a lot of progress on their suspension platforms and their geo that have made bikes of this travel range that just absolutely crush it on the downhill, actually made them climb really well. That's something that's totally unique about Revel. So they have a patented suspension system called CBF, Canfield Balance Formula. We made an entire video dedicated to just that. Where that suspension system really shines and the idea behind it is like a holistic platform that works good uphill and downhill, kind of what everyone's aiming for, but it just really works good. And where you really notice it is on a long travel bike like this, where you just get on it and you kind of expect it to be sluggish and not climb very well, but it actually climbs extremely well. Where it really shines to me, that's like instantly noticeable when you ride this thing, is technical climbing. And when you hit like ledgy, rocky uphill climbing, this thing just powers. Like you just put power to the pedals and it just motors over it and you don't lose your balance and you don't have that stalling tipping feeling. So super impressive there. These bikes they do sell them as frame only, frame and fork. They have a GX kit, an XO1 kit, an XX1 kit. So link below down in the video description to more detail on all the build kit and specs and geo and all of that sort of stuff. It's totally modern, low, long slack geo like you'd expect a bike to be that was released in 2019. But now let's go take it out on the trail and play around with a little bit. And I want to show you guys some examples of where this thing really excels climbing and descending. This is kind of a weird spot of trail to point out, but it really highlights how this bike works on the uphill when it comes to ledgy stuff. These are wooden stairs kind of going up to this trailhead and then a really skinny fence, so you can't really go around the stairs. You just have to blast up them. But this bike just like eats up those stairs and you just put power to the ground and it just climbs the stairs. It's like one of those things you look at and you're like, oh, I'm not gonna be able to make that. And then you just pedal at it and the bike just goes up it totally fine. It's awesome. This is one of those weird times where it's really nice to have a playful, poppy 27.5 inch wheeled bike when there's a giant gutter on the exit of a trailhead. I'll show you why. If there's one thing I absolutely took away from this bike and bikes of this wheel size and travel, modern bikes that is, in general, is that they can still climb super well. This thing, like I mentioned, those ledgy, rocky technical climbs, the suspension platform that Revel has just really, really shines. And it makes a bike like this that is epic at a bike park with, 27.5 inch wheels. You can flick the thing around, whip it, have fun on it, nice poppy and playful. But you can still have this as like your everyday year-round bike that you climb XC trails on and all that. Super impressive. Now let me show you a few things I enjoy doing with a bike like this on the downhill. A reason I love a bike like this is how playful it is, what you can do with it. When I ride a longer travel bike like this with 27.5 inch wheels, I love doing those unnecessary berm slaps and cutties and manuals and random bunny hops that might be unnecessary but are also totally fun and really fun to do on a nice agile bike like this, especially with how good it is. Long, low slack, long travel, you can just plow the downhills with it. And you can actually climb this thing. And then you can take it to the bike park every summer and enjoy the hell out of a bike like this, doing shuttle laps or at any bike park. So yeah, that's kind of what I love about bikes like this and why it's good to have something like this in your arsenal. So I think a lot of people who gravitate towards a bike like this, they tend to like to ride that way and enjoy riding that way. Everyone has a little bit different style and different bikes kind of suit that and make one style a little bit more fun than the other. But yeah, for me, it's like all about riding this thing fast, riding rocky stuff, riding stuff that has more jumps and more little berm slash opportunities than I typically would on something like a shorter travel 29er. So yeah, super fun.
It was at this moment that he knew. He f***ed up.
Oh. Shite. I've blasted the tire.
Oh, I got it all. I got it all.
I guess that concludes our filming session for today. Well, I got a little too playful and sendy on this thing and sent that a little too far and landed right on a rock and blew a hole in the tire. So that concludes our filming session for the day. But as you can tell, these bikes are fun. The people that really enjoy a bike like this love that poppy, playful stuff, love manualing, going to jump trails more, riding it at the bike park in the summer. That's where these kind of bikes really shine. And what's amazing about the Revel Rail in particular is how damn good it actually climbs for being a 27.5, 165 mil travel bike. So yeah, if there's one thing to take away, if you're looking for like a longer travel bike you can use at the bike park, you can still climb it. It climbs really well and just have a ton of fun on. This bike's amazing, super good for that. I'm gonna go fix this flat tire now and try and ride down the rest of this mountain with no PSI on the tire. Hit that subscribe button, we'll see you guys in the next one.